The Gnostic sects hold that the material world was ruled by an evil force. Most say that the material world is actually a creation of an evil demiurge. Surprisingly enough, when the Gnostic thinking is applied to the Judeo-Semitic myth of Genesis, understanding completely contrary to the controversial interpretation emerges. In the Gnostic mind, Yahweh Elohim of Genesis is identified with the demiurge, the creator of this world, who is an evil one. Yahweh is also called Yaldabaoth. By many Gnostic sects, created the world of natural and the natural parts of humanity, but tried to keep humankind in slavery and darkness and separate them from the transcended life. The slavery of humanity, the savior of humanity is the serpent, which is the Kundalini, who is the bringer of light from the cosmos. Now, let's deal with some of this Yaldabaoth stuff. And you know that this particular God has got to be against us. You know that this particular God has to be against us. Now, let's see if I can find this particular information. I'm reading several books, but they have passages. I don't want you to go out and buy a whole lot of books, because a lot of the books have commentary. What you need to do is get the scriptures and read it for yourself, because these white people double talk because they want to keep their commentary in place. They'll try to make excuses for what the damn scriptures say. So it's important and imperative that you get the scriptures, and you can bypass somebody's commentary, because they can have you right back believing into some God of creation, some God of creation. And I'll explain what this, and I'm going to explain to you in a few minutes of what this means. It says, the fifth is the demiurge. The demiurge is this particular God of creation called Yaldabaoth. He got this evil spawn called the demiurge. The demiurge, in the sixth of space, his residence of the seven worldly matter, and the eighth is malignant opponent. Now listen. The ninth is the Messiah of the Jews, announced by the demiurge. This is what it says. The Messiah has nothing to do with the Christ. Later became a former, the Messiah has nothing to do with the Christ. With the Christ. And it says, is later become, that later becomes manifest, and the former is to come and will. So they were saying that the Messiah that was supposedly in the ancient world that they're talking about has nothing to do with the Christ that you're supposed to be worshiping. Now, in Blavatsky's book, the Isis Unveiled, in Blavatsky's book, Isis Unveiled, she quotes in her book that the false Messiah shall say, I am Deus, and Deus is my Father here. And this is what she says. Hence the belief that some Gnostics that the word that was the Archangel Gabriel was not the Archangel Gabriel who overshadowed Mary, but it was Yaldabaoth, this particular evil demiurge, we're going to get into and explain his whole story in a few minutes, that formed the material body of Jesus Christ Christos, uniting himself with him at a moment of baptism in Judaism of Jordan. And it says that this particular one is, this false Messiah is the destroyer of ancient religions. So the one that came 2,000 years ago, if there is one to come, and if we was to take that, was an entity of Yaldabaoth trying to historicalize himself as a person that you're supposed to worship, because the Christ who is to come was supposed to be you in the future. And you got threw off based on this particular devil that came, who sets over the Christian religion, which is all organized religion that don't teach you anything about your spiritual upliftment. You understand what I'm saying? A spiritual upliftment. You see. So let's deal with some things. Let's deal with some things. Let's see what I got here. Let's deal with some of these Gnostic scriptures. Now, they're saying that in order, the reason why when you die and you reincarnate is because if you don't have a certain amount of knowledge, there's certain things that you can't pass through certain gates and doors of the spiritual realm. So therefore, Yaldabaoth gets you and spits you out through his tail, and you come back and reincarnate again. So it's actually, this particular entity is keeping you in slavery on the earth. You see what I'm saying? And that's why you can't get anywhere. That's why they tell you, and C. Freeman L. used to say, oh, you can go, but if you don't have a certain amount of knowledge, you will come right back. You will come right back and reincarnate. So what we're going to do now is we're going to read the actual scriptures. So they had this particular entity named Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth came and created 7 planetary archons, or 12, which would be the ones in this particular zodiac. Now, to right the wrong, Newt said, because this was an evil person, he first rose up and then bothered to look up above him and see Sirius and the other gods. He said, I am a jealous God, and let it be known I shall have no gods before me. So if you want to identify that, that's the biblical God. But he didn't bother to look up and see that there was gods before him. This God is a subordinate God, the God of Christianity and Judaism is a subordinate God, which means up under a higher God, the unknown God, the hidden God. You see, y'all get this? So, he goes down, and so he creates the 7 planetary spheres, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, and all of them. And he goes down and he creates those particular ones, but he don't give them no light. So as a result, he was ruling over them. Newt convinced them to create the earth and say, well, you can rule over the earth. These other archons, or they call it demiurge. Then Yaldabaoth comes down, basically reconciles with these particular demiurge people, or these other archons, and they tried to people the earth, because she convinced, and so they make this physical body, which is this, but it couldn't stand up. So Newt comes back to recorrect things. She tells Yaldabaoth to breathe life into the physical body. When he breathed life into the physical body, the little bit of light that he had went into the physical body. When the archons and Yaldabaoth realized that the God or the man that they had created was greater than them, they basically tried to destroy them. Now, this is the point that's crucial on what's going on. To make this whole thing rise up and correct the mistake of Yaldabaoth, this subordinate God, this God that has people worship in him. You see, thou shalt have no gods before me. To recorrect that, the highest God, which is Sirius, which is a reflection of the mother, said that I have to go down to the earth and go into incarnation and ransom myself off, because I'm higher than him, I'm more powerful than him. And I have to ransom myself off so I can redeem the physical bodies that he used to trap the souls in. Y'all get this? So as a result, the most ancient star, which is Sirius, broke pieces of her off and sent it to earth to incarnate into the physical bodies and hide itself in the physical bodies, and that's called the hidden God, Amun-Ra. It broke the pieces off. And each piece that is broken off is the seed of soot, which is Sirius, or Set in here, or Seth in here, which ain't got nothing to do with the evil Seth, which is in each and every one of us, called melanin. Now, the key is what you have to realize, that if the most ancient God or the creator God that created the universe, not this sphere, there's a difference between the creator of the earth and the lower realms and the creator of the universe and the gods. The most ancient God broke pieces off and he's in all of us. Then you are the original creator yourself. If going back to my observation, is not the cup here the same as the content in this jug? Same thing. So who is the original creator? You are the original creator, because the energy that was of the original creator that created the universe is in you. As a result, they say we must throw these people off. So they created counterfeit spirits with no light to come down and to dwell with us, to throw us off. You see, the counterfeit spirits would be the terrible invention that would keep us down to this day, because the counterfeit spirits will be murderous and they would kill us, but they would have forgetfulness in them. And because they will forget what murder they did, they will continue every 20 years or so doing the same shit they did before. So all they got to do is forget you, is to write you out of history, or they will write it in history and keep it from the masses of their people, and they are forgetfulness. They can't remember. You have taken on that trait now that you can't remember past 3 years, just by not accessing your melanin. So they create these counterfeit spirits to somehow come and steal our sacred substance. And they stole the sacred substance, but they need more and more to survive, and they became hooked on it. It's like a drug. I want to read this particular part down here based on the fool. Now, the fool is deceived by the visible realm. You deceived by this visible realm. But the fool, good and evil, is exactly the same. What do they mean by a good fool? A good fool is black people who haven't woke up yet. But they say the evil fool, which is the white man, which is the original fool, they say you one in the damn same. So you can have good dead people. You got good people in your family. But they're saying if you don't have no knowledge, you just as bad as the lowly despised. You one in the same. You see, for a wise person shall not be nourished, for a wise person will be nourished by truth, and will be like a tree planted by streams of water. Indeed, there are some people who have wings, and they will flee from the visible realm. That is far from the truth, for which leads them mainly to fire, and it says will present them to a truth-like apparition. And it just goes on to say that there's going to be a certain amount of people that is going to be fooled by the visible realm, and based on this visible realm and all, they will not understand. So that's why you even see niggas saying, "Now, well, I can't see that shit. I don't know what the hell you talking about here." And so you got these revolutionaries. They're still trying to fight for the stuff because they only want what the white man has. You see, they only want what the actual white man has. You see what I'm saying? So this particular book is filled with things, and everything in this particular book is so real. You can clearly see that that the other book is written for a political thing, and it is written for a political thing. You see, and it has nothing to do. The other book has nothing to do with real Christianity whatsoever. You see what I'm saying? Whatsoever. So let's get on with some other stuff and see what the deal is going on here. Now, what is our goal? Our goal is we need to look for, if you are not looking for an apocalypse, because you know the apocalypse means that you will be free. And if you are not looking for an apocalypse, what is happening here is you in actuality will try every other thing and every other avenue to sustain yourself on the physical realm, and therefore you're going down the wrong path. You're going down the wrong path. Now, the Epistle Sophia, which is another book you can find, is the final book, which is talking about the role of the Christ. And in that particular book, they'll be dealing with certain things and certain light which is in you, and you can actually kill a Yaldabaoth based on certain light that's in you. And they say the Christ comes, and those particular evil ones will see the light, and they will be agitated by the light. So that's talking about your particular aura. You see what I'm saying? Agitated by the light. Now, what has been happening is the Yaldabaoth is now weakened, but you have the government is now doing rituals to keep a Yaldabaoth alive because he's weakened. You know, they're doing rituals, and the Illuminati is doing rituals to keep a Yaldabaoth alive. You see what I'm saying? Because he is actually weakened. Now, I want to get with one thing, huh? Well, yeah, that's just to keep us confused. That's just to keep us confused. But this particular Yaldabaoth is very weakened. But when you make him strong by focusing more and more on his creation, which is the physical realm, which is more of the physical, which is more of the physical realm. In here, in the Gnostic scriptures, the Gnostics say that, hey, sex is first and foremost, and procreation is secondary. But they was also saying in the Gnostic scripture that, hell, you supposed to, if you get pregnant and you don't want the baby, you supposed to doggone abort the baby. Now, I understand that you can't understand the concept of this particular thing right now, but what they were interested in, they were interested in not reincarnating a whole lot of souls to get trapped in the physical. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they was for abortion. Not for everything, because they knew they had to keep the race going, but they knew that a certain amount of things that was not supposed to come down. So, on the other hand, it was a part in here where in the Gospel of Thomas, Thomas asked Christ, he said, should we diet? And should we diet, and what kind of fast should we go on? And Jesus and the Christ in here said, why do what you hate? Give a Yaldabaoth that which is a Yaldabaoth, which is talking about the physical body. Which is talking about the physical body and all. So now, the particular God that they're dealing with here, which I'm going to, it's in the Gnostic scriptures, called the unknown God. Which is called the unknown God. What you said? Eat what you want. Eat what you want. That's when Awaz came and said, I bid you not from, he said, I didn't come to chastise you. I bid you not to turn from all your voluptuous ways and all your follies. Eat what you want. Eat what you want. Yes, there's a book called the Epistle Sophia. G.R.S. Mead is the one that writes the Epistle Sophia. G.R.S. Mead is the one that writes that particular one, that particular book. Now, I'm gonna see if I want to get. I guess I have to go by my particular notes. So this particular God that we talking about, if you are the original creator, you have no business worshiping any subordinate figure that is that is up under you. You see what I'm saying? Any subordinate figure is up under you. In this so-called Gnostic script, they said that those particular ones that's on the path of enlightenment, you are granted protection. They call it the protection of the elect. Who are the elect? The elect are the group of people that came into knowledge at this particular time. So you don't have to too much worry about the atrocities. And basically what they're saying is the particular people up there, because they're fools and you can't tell them nothing, they seal their own fate, you see. They seal their own fate. Now this particular Yaldabaoth is also represented in a movie called The Gifted. He's the one that comes back to kill the gifted people who have the sight, the see, and the anointed one, which is actually talking about the melanated one. And it's a movie called The Gifted Ones, but they deal with the Dogon mythology of Ogu, which is the same Yaldabaoth. In the movie called The Gifted, and so every so many years, or 20 so years, he comes and he has a killing spree. And if you notice, basically, we die in so many groups of every 20-something years. Just like, because every 20-something years we come into consciousness. Yaldabaoth gave the white man time travel from the Philadelphia experiment so he can somehow go back into certain parts of time to kill the Messiah. Unfortunately, they can't find the Messiah because the Messiah is hidden in all the people. And if there is a Christ figure, they wouldn't know who it is. So they gave him time travel. And they go through history trying to find and kill the Messiah, but they would not be able to do that. And that vortex that they did give Yaldabaoth, because Yaldabaoth is in contact with these so-called Illuminati and all these type of people, and they channel to the Archons and the Demiurge and the Yaldabaoth. You see what I'm saying? They try to give them time travel. Well, the aliens is us, really. That's the real mystery to the damn aliens and stuff. I'll explain that too, especially when we get into it tomorrow and stuff. But the aliens is us, also too. We'll explain in the question and answer also too. Also too. So they actually the Yaldabaoth actually gave a time travel to do that, because they said when a Yaldabaoth see the Messiah coming to the earth, he's really upset because he understands that this particular time is over for him.